That my baby dog. That my baby dog. Oh, biscuit. Oh, it's something about puppies. Like dachshunds they don't really have puppy breath. They have a weird smell. I think that's a documented fact. And she's getting to the point now where those little teeth and those little claws hurt, and her poop actually stinks. Yeah. At some point, it's weird to think about babies. God actually, after a few months, God puts smell in the poo. You're wired up. I'm about to put you down. Happy Tuesday. I hope everybody's doing well. So many things we didn't get into yesterday that I'm going to get into today, and I'm excited about it. Chris, of course, is going to put a teaser out using last night's little 30-second monologue that I said about how you'll never make it in life. That's going to be our advertisement for overtime. Chris, the thing that I love about the way you do the teasers for the things and you pull things out of context is it totally triggers the people who aren't watching or paying attention.
Oh, 100%.
And that's what we want.
Yes. And they'll be like, wait, Chad said what?
Exactly.
You called Kamala a what? Were you not paying attention during the normal show?
That's right. That's what I want. I want people. We like to pull it out of context. And I can always tell if somebody's actually watched the show or listened to the show because, again, they take it out of the context. And so make sure you're watching, sharing this thing. Let's grow this show, folks. And don't forget, tune into the overtime, blazetv.com/Chad. And can we go back, though? Can we just do a little analytical breakdown of the Amber Heard deal? First of all, that's not real life, okay? I mean, personally, I think that it's a whole scripted distraction. I mean, I really do. I think the whole thing is it's probably a movie they pre-taped. I mean, if I really want to get into the conspiracy theory aspect of this whole thing, this is just another pre-taped thing. Because why aren't we talking about Ghislane Maxwell? Why aren't we talking about the Black Book? Why aren't we talking about the pedophiles that they're protecting? Why aren't we doing all of this stuff? Why aren't we looking at all of that? And I don't care about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Do not care. Don't care. They're both idiots. They're both morons. But I still want to go back to the audacity of this girl taking a bump of whatever she took a bump of. Was it cocaine? We don't know. We may never know. Biscuit obviously smelled something that got her all hyped up. Was it cocaine? Biscuit, are you on the Pappy O'Daniels flower hour? Are you passing the biscuits? Huh? Because you're pretty hyped up. You're pretty amped. All right. You have that clip. Play it for me.
Mental condition.
It's still hearsay, Your Honor.
Wow.
May we approach you?
Now, she snorted something. I look, I know these things, all right? Those of you who know me, you know I got a past. I can recognize these things. And I love the people trying to justify it. I did a little video from the truck about this whole thing. Just a little 1-minute deal. The audacity of somebody on the witness stand in a court of law. Now, people have speculated maybe it was menthol because actors do that to work some tears up. But she hasn't, there's been no tears. This woman is a tearless crier. She's always breaking down, but I haven't seen any tears. I see a lot of the fake sad face thing. But that right there, now, I don't know could I do that? Absolutely 100%. Put something on a napkin, whatever, hold it up to your face, do a little snort, then the little rub right there. But you don't hold a nostril and then rub it like that, and then you can see her eyes, you can see the drip, which, by the way, for those of you who've never used cocaine, there is the drip. It happens in the back of your throat. I don't mean to educate you guys with this stuff. Don't do drugs, kids. But this right here, something's up. Something's going on. But anyway, enough with the insanity with the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing. They were a wild couple. They did a lot of drugs. They drank a lot of booze. They beat the shit out of each other. Hollywood, baby. And everybody's enamored with this nonsense. I say, I want to see the Ghislane Maxwell trial. I want to hear everything talked about in regards to that. I want to release the Rolodex, the Black Book, everything. The fact that there hasn't been a single person in question of this whole deal. They're all protected. They're all guarded. Why? Why are we so consistently distracted with the BS like this stuff or Will Smith slapping Chris Rock or this nonsensical stuff like we talked about yesterday, the Chet Hanks thing. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I don't care if a white dude, a rich guy's kid, I don't care if he appropriated patois language and Jamaican culture. I don't care. I want to talk about the things that matter. I want to talk about the fact that there are pedophiles among us. There are groomers in our public school system. I want to talk about the fact that people are actually defending and, fighting for the right to murder their unborn children. Fighting for it. These are the things that matter. These are the things that matter. Studio 22. It's going to get lit up in here. Boys, golly. Can we play, speaking of protesters and the Supreme Court, we've got a clip. This is outside Justice Brett Kavanaugh's home. Play that clip if we have it.
We will not go back. I see you, buddy. We will not go back. We will not go back. We will not go back. We will not go back.
Now, the other day, Jen Psaki in press conference said that she's for peaceful protesting. She's not for violence or vandalism or things like that. All the typical blah, blah, blah talking points. Everybody on both sides always talks about that. What they're doing, though, that's illegal. That's not freedom to protest right there. That's somebody's private property. You're out, whether you're out in the street or whatever. You are trying to coerce a federal judge. You're trying to coerce a Supreme Court justice. You can't do that. You can't use issues of threats and all these kind of things to make that person try to change their mind. This is illegal. But are they going to do anything about it? Of course they're not going to do anything about it. They're not going to do anything about it. This kind of stuff right here, this type of rhetoric, the leaking of that Supreme Court memo, that's actual insurrection. Like, you talk about January 6th, those people staying, behind the velvet ropes, such savagery in the Capitol building. And we don't know how that was orchestrated, what happened, the whole deal. There were some nefarious things going on. None of us condone those actions, but we're also, commonsensical enough with a little bit of complex thinking to realize that there were some nefarious things that were happening there that instigated, started, and perpetuated the January 6th thing. Because let's face it, the media and everybody else jumped on that thing with both feet. Where are they now? Why aren't they talking about this? Why aren't they talking about the leaked memo? Why aren't they really coming down hard on this thing? Why do we still not have a name on that? Why is there no one? They know who did it. Of course they know who did it. Because these judicial activists, these progressives, these wild-eyed lunatic lefties, they get away with everything. Everything. You know why they get away with everything? Because they're going to riot, they're going to protest, they're going to throw Molotov cocktails, they're going to make... have you seen the TikTok videos of people telling you how to prepare for your first riot? Like how to dress for it? I saw this on TikTok, Chris. I don't know if you've seen it or not. My buddy Jeff Smith sent it to me. And he did like a reaction duet where this girl's talking about, make sure that your lawyer and your bail bondsman name and phone number is written on your arm. Make sure, talking about the type of masks to wear. Make sure that you're wearing a hood, the type of clothing to wear, steel-toe boots. When's the last time you went to a riot, Chris? I mean, when's the last time you just felt like getting out there and just burning some shit down?
2 years ago.
Did you?
At the Summer of Love.
Yeah.
Remember that? Remember the Summer of Love? They just burned the whole thing down.
Yeah.
Everybody had to wear it. Even if you were not protesting, you still had to wear the gas mask and the shield. But it's funny, Chad, have you started to realize a trend? Maybe we'll do this in a future episode, but I'm trying to find out every summer for since 2016. So that means 2017 was the first summer. I'm noticing that every time we're about to hit summer, something happens.
Always.
Where it throws the nation into either a racist rant, into a woman's thing, into something happens right before summer, and then the whole country goes into turmoil for 2 months.
Yeah, it's always the summer. It's the summer riot season, as we call it. And to your point right there, the travesty of justice with this whole thing is that the government is doing nothing to protect these justices or their homes. They're not shutting that down. They're not. There's some justices, I forget which one. They're in hiding. If the federal government won't protect a Supreme Court justice, you think they're going to protect you? You think they care about you? Hell no, they don't care about you. We're in trouble. We're in trouble as a nation. People can't afford to put fuel in their car. There's a baby formula shortage. People are having to drive hours trying to find baby formula. I can't tell you, when I'm in Dallas, I don't like being in Dallas, but I have to be because here we are. I can't tell you how many times I pull through a gas station to put fuel in my truck, and there's no diesel. There's a bag over the handle, or it's, whatever. There's no diesel. It's just, at some point in time, it's just going to become unavailable. The same thing is going to happen with food. I heard Glenn talking about it yesterday. Of course he was talking about it. But there's going to be an issue globally where millions of people are going to starve to death. And may not happen like that in America, but there will be shortages. There will be hardships that are going to come. I'll give a little free plug for my Patriot Supply. I will, because I think you need to make sure that you are stocked up on your food stores. You do. We're in a situation here that is not about to get better. We're a year and a half into the Biden presidency almost. You got a little ways to go, folks. You got a little ways to go. You got a few more years of this, and it ain't going to get any better. Do you think if Joe Biden is in a cognitive decline that suddenly he's going to improve? Not going to improve. Do you think that these leftists, and by the way, this Roe v. Wade thing is absolutely galvanizing the red wave that I believe is coming in November. I really, I can remember talking about Glenn. I can remember Glenn saying if they overturn Roe v. Wade, that we're not going to have a red wave. But we reported on it this past week about how the SCOTUS ruling overturning Roe v. Wade is actually going to galvanize Republican voters for the 2022 midterm election. There was a poll that said, if the election for Congress were being held today, which party's candidate would you vote for in your congressional district? 42% of respondents indicated they would lean towards supporting candidates belonging to the Democratic Party. 49% of respondents said they would support Republican Party candidates. They asked respondents who they would vote for the Democratic Party's candidate for Congress, whether that vote was for the Democrat or against the Republican. 59% said they would vote for the Democrat. 41% they would vote against the Republican. The inverse was asked of the respondents who said they would cast their vote for the Republican candidate. 65% of those respondents said they would vote for the Republican. 35% said they were voting against the Democrat. So there's a lot of enthusiasm out there. 56% of Republican respondents said they were extremely or very enthusiastic about the upcoming election cycle, and only 43% of Democrats said they felt similarly. See, they pushed this pendulum so far out there that it's unsustainable. Where we're at, it's unsustainable. They've done it in the name of, quote, climate science, because let's face it, that's the base religion. Everything's about the environment. They sprinkle all these other things in there to get your juices flowing, but you can't handle all of that all at once, right? I mean, if we were just dealing one issue, like we were just dealing with one transgender swimmer on a collegiate sports team, that'd be one thing. But no, you got to deal with that. You got to have it thrown in your face about who the press secretary is. You got to deal with gas prices, inflation, a housing market that's about to burst with inflation. You got to deal with the fact that, I mean, if you don't have cash, you're about to be in trouble. And if you have the cash, you're going to be in trouble because cash is becoming worthless. So we don't have anything back. They're just printing this up. They do believe in modern monetary theory. They do believe in ESG scores. They're implementing that every single day, more and more. So it's all of this stuff all at once. They want to systematically crash the economy. They want to make sure that you become immobile, that you are forced to stay at home. We saw the pattern whenever COVID was going on. They wanted you to stay right there at home. They don't want you mobile. They don't want you out there. They don't want you in the community. They don't want you to communicate with anybody else. They want you right there, cloistered off, so that your only means of communication, the only way that you can congregate and come together is going to be through a computer that they control. They control your systems of communication, the things you can say, and there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can do about it. So good luck, folks. I'm telling you, you better do some things. These are some politically charged times. And I'm telling you right now, you better start voting with your dollars. That's why I'm proud to have people like Minutemen Coffee that have come along. You know, I mentioned My Patriot Supply. We've talked about Patriot Mobile over and over again. We only approve people that have these values. Minutemen Coffee, they love America. They love American patriots. They're constitutionally based and family owned as a company. They're steadfast in their belief that freedom-loving Americans deserve products from companies that share their beliefs. They actually put a copy of the Constitution in every order you get from Minutemen Coffee. That's how much they believe in your constitutional rights. So every time you order it, guess what? You're going to get a bag of coffee. You're going to get a pound of coffee for less than you could probably buy a cup at the Starbucks. And it's good coffee. Made by these constitutional patriots, small batched, handcrafted from family farms across the globe, roasted to perfection, delivered fresh to you. I love coffee, but let me tell you something. I am in love with Minutemen Coffee. They hit the mark, folks, and I want you to order from them. I do. I want you to go to MinutemenCoffee.com. They got a special going right now. If you buy 3 bags of their Heritage Roast, they're going to add Trader Joe to your cart for free as well as free shipping. So check them out, MinutemenCoffee.com. If you don't want that deal, use promo code CHAD at 15% off at checkout with your order. Join the coffee revolution. Go get them. MinutemenCoffee.com. Be right back. Now, you think I'm overreacting with some of this stuff. I'm telling you, these people, they're unhinged, folks. They're absolutely unhinged. I mean, we've always had crazy people in this world. We really do. But now they're coming together. I mean, they're trying to see who can out crazy one another on this deal. I want to play this clip regarding the Planned Parenthood as far as what the U.S. plan for women who have miscarriages is. Look how unhinged this is. Watch it.
I spoke to a doctor who, in no uncertain terms, told me that he has had patients die because he wasn't allowed to give them an abortion that would have saved their lives. And he was saying there's been absolutely no difference in demand for abortions, whether it's legal or not. There's no difference. Really, keeps me up at night is when I spoke to the women who were in prison for having an abortion. And there were some in there who had not seen their family in years because this prison is in such a dangerous place that their family can't visit. And they say they had a miscarriage and they woke up, they had an obstetric emergency, and they wake up and they are shackled to the hospital bed, and there is a police officer in there investigating them. All of these things that we, say might happen if abortion gets banned, if abortion becomes illegal, they do happen. This isn't a theory. We don't need to speculate. We have actual facts that can inform what happens.
What? Yeah, people are being imprisoned for miscarriages. I mean, what alternate reality are you living in? And then you see Bubblehead Mr. Potato there, Brian Stelter, trying to look so serious and concerned. What are they even talking about with this whole deal? This is the world you live in. First of all, those abortions that are supposedly needed to save the life of a mother are non-existent. I mean, the statistical anomalies. C. Everett Koop said in 36 years of pediatric medicine, he said, I never knew of a single case. This was the Surgeon General of the United States under Ronald Reagan. He said, I never knew of a single case where an abortion had to be perpetrated in order to save the life of a mother. It's statistical anomaly. It doesn't happen. But it gets worse. They got more. This is what the far right is going to do to you, according to CNN. Watch this clip.
Officials are preparing for potential violence in the Capitol and nationwide after the leak of that Supreme Court draft opinion that would strike down Roe v. Wade after 50 years. Capitol Police are warning the far right is calling for violence against a religious group planning to rally for abortion rights. Whitney Wild is live outside the Supreme Court. Listen, seeing fences go up there, it's sort of like post-January 6th. What are you seeing, and what specific intelligence is worrying police officials?
Well, at this point, law enforcement sources, several of them tell us that they are closely monitoring social media chatter that suggests that there's a potential for violence against abortion clinic providers, abortion clinic staff, members of the judiciary. That would include the justices here, as well as members of the federal government. And what we know after January 6th and what law enforcement knows across the country is that social media chatter can manifest into actual violence.
There you go, folks. You see this whole thing? You see where they're going with this? They've got to play the rhetoric. They got to play the rhetoric. January 6th. But did you hear the way they report it? Oh, there is a pro-choice religious group. These sweet little religious people that are for abortion that are planning to be there to protest. What religion is your religion of death for unborn innocent children? What religion is that? This little religious group and these far-right extreme protesters are going to commit violence against them. Do you understand what you're inciting with this gibberish? I mean, CNN, places like that, big media, they really should be held accountable for this level of BS. This is insanity, what you're doing. And then you're going to come back and say, oh, well, it just reminds us of January 6th. It's leftists that are in the streets. They're progressives that are sitting there in the streets doing the protesting. I'm at a loss here. I really am. These are the pro-choice people. These are people screaming for your right to abort your child that are out there in the streets right now, and you're going to compare that to January 6th? Well, wait a minute. Are you literally comparing these people on the left to the folks that were supposedly on the right who committed such a horrible, heinous insurrection on January 6th in the nation's capital? You see where it starts to fall apart, how quickly this whole thing just unravels with a little bit of a tug. But they peddle this bullshit out there over and over again, and you're just supposed to swallow that pablum. What were you just watching? Can you put the clip to that part back up there again? I don't know if you could do it quick enough, Mark, but just that part where they show the multi-panel deal of all the people out in the street. You see right here, those who's the protesters? Who's the protesters? I would love to be able to analyze that picture and see what they're showing.
I want everybody to find the crazy right-wingers / MAGA people on any of those.
Yeah.
Because all that is pro-left.
Exactly.
All of that is pro-left.
Every single bit of it. These are the people like the scantily clad black lady out there who's ripping up a doll of a baby. Do you have that clip that I sent you of the little TikTok? Can we pull it? Can we play it real quick? This is where their logic goes. Here's reality, folks. Play it.
Hear me out. If they overturn Roe v. Wade, humans that possess uteruses should collectively get together and never have sex with men again. Some of you guys were on the fence already about it. This will be the best way to protest this.
She's serious. Like, that's how unhinged this is. That's how you're going to do this. Hear me out. She's so dead serious about this thing. People who possess uteruses. Suddenly she's a biologist. Suddenly they can define what a woman is. Those of you who have a uterus. Wow, you know what? All that uterine talk really gets me turned on. Like, I'm hot and bothered right now. I want to go find me a uterus right now and have me a little coital play. Wow, with these people. They're unhinged, dude. They're absolutely unhinged. Let's talk about what we're doing. I want to ask you a question. Here's the deal. Why do you never see abortion procedures done on TV? Why? I mean, you can go on TikTok or Instagram. You can watch hours of reels of people popping zits. It's just cellular tissue, right? It's just pus. I mean, it's just a little protoplasm. It's coming out of your face. People will watch that shit all day long. You can go right now to YouTube and you can watch somebody's appendix get removed. You can get a gallbladder taken out. You can watch that. You can watch all these things. You can watch eye surgery. You can watch any procedure you want. But you can't find an abortion. Why? It's just a procedure. It's just a procedure performed on a little life form, a fetus, right? Just a little clump of cells. Why can't you see it? Why won't they show you that? I'll tell you why. Because it's a human life, and it's disgusting to watch and to see when you're talking about putting a needle, a syringe in the back of the skull of an unborn baby and sucking its brains out. When he talks about going in and clipping the parts of the body off, the appendages of the arms, the legs, cutting the head, and extracting a baby. When you talk about Ralph Northam, the former governor of Virginia, who's going to say, and by the way, he was a pediatric surgeon, who's going to sit there and say, well, after the baby is born, this is a full-term child that's been born, then everyone will leave the room and it will be between the mother and the physician to have a conversation about what to do. That's evil. That is disgustingly evil. These vile people, and you think that threatening me with a sex strike from your gappy tooth ass nasty is going to truly turn me away from this? Give me a break, people who possess a uterus. Keep it to yourself. How about that? Nobody wants any of your janky shit anyway. That's what I got to say about it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to choose life. I'm going to choose life. Because you people aren't about reproduction anyway. You're not about life. You're not about health. You're not about home. You're not about the family. You don't care about children. You know what you're going to do? You listen. Once we have babies, then you're going to go in there and try to groom them anyway. There's no ending the insanity with you people. Y'all are crazy. Y'all just dreaming up a weird reality. Here's a trick. Don't get pregnant. What a novel concept. Don't have sex. You want to say, we're asking you not to have sex already. Maybe the sex strike is a damn good idea. Is any of this making sense? I just can't stand it anymore. I'm going to fight for life. That's a hill I'll die on. Trust me. If you don't have a cause that you'll die for, then you ain't living. You ain't got a reason to live. I'm telling you, you better find some things. And you know what? Maybe I'm way off the mark. I don't think I am, but maybe I'm way off the mark. I'll let God sort it out one day. But me, if I'm going to err, I'm going to err on the side of life and defending those who are defenseless. That's just a simple point of what I'm going to do, folks. You can like it, lump it, kiss my ass. I don't care. I'm not siding with these lunatic fringe leftists. And they're going to tell me, when have I incited violence? When have I called for violence? I have not. I've condemned it at every step of the way. All I'm saying is let life have its way. Golly, man. The fact that we got to talk about this is insanity. Anyway, woo. Now we got to sell something. It's summertime. If you're avoiding the riots, I want you to take your summer adventures to the next level with Bespoke Post. I love them. I really do. Their new seasonal lineup, Must Have Box of Awesome collections are pretty great. They only use small businesses and emerging brands to bring you the most unique goods every single month. Most months I go on there and actually add stuff to my box. Pretty cool stuff. No matter what you got going on, they got the Box of Awesome for you. All the different categories, camping gear, stuff for the beach, stuff for travel, stuff for the bar, all these kind of things. It's a lifestyle box, and you're going to love it. Go to boxofawesome.com, take the quiz. Your answers are going to help them pick the right Box of Awesome for you. They're going to release new boxes every month across all these categories, and each box is valued at around $70, but you only pay a fraction of that. Each Box of Awesome, when you buy one and you receive it, you're supporting small businesses, and that's pretty cool. 90% of everything that comes in your Box of Awesome is from a small up-and-coming brand. You got the Frontier box. It's got a pocket knife that was actually developed in 1980 and has become synonymous with the French design and utility Pablo Picasso used in number 8 to carve his sculptures, and Navy officer Eric Tabarly, Arctic explorer Jean-Louis Etienne, and record-setting sailor Alain Colas all swore by theirs. You can get one. You can. Go to boxofawesome.com. Get 20% off your first monthly box when you sign up. Use code WATCHCHAD and save. boxofawesome.com. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Boy, I need to start drinking that tequila early today. Pretty fired up. Here's what I want to talk to you about that I don't know exactly how I feel about it. I'm kind of all over the map on this thing, and it's the topic of warning labels. I want to talk to you about warning labels. Now, I don't know about you, but I kind of find a lot of warning labels to be irritating, stupid, and just unnecessary. And I'm of the opinion, for example, that someone who needs to see a "do not drink this, it's gasoline" on the side of a gas container probably isn't contributing too much to society in the first place. But that's just me. I don't know about you. But what about when the warning label has to do with your kids? What about when it's placed on television shows that might look harmless, but are actually teaching them things you don't want them to learn about just yet in their life? So Republican lawmakers have recently approached the TV Parental Guidelines Monitoring Board, asking them to put alerts on shows with sexual orientation and gender identity content so that parents know whether or not they want their kid watching that particular show. Now, the first question is definitely, is this a fair ask? And I think probably yes, it is. First of all, there unquestionably is a rise in that kind of content being put into kids' shows these days. Disney's talked about it in no uncertain circumstances in their private meetings that have now been leaked. But you only have to turn on the tube and watch for a little bit to see it in places like Nickelodeon, Netflix as well. And if you don't imagine that more is coming down the pike, then I suggest you've not been paying close enough attention to what's going on in this country. I mean, I'm trying to warn you folks. Second of all, I get it. Parents are busy. Not an excuse. It doesn't let them off the hook when it comes to being responsible to what their kids are allowed to watch. But the simple truth is that unless you're going to unplug the TV and throw it out into the trash, which maybe ain't a bad idea, you're simply not going to be able to vet each and everything your child is exposed to by watching the whole thing yourself to begin with. And let's be clear about something. Nobody's asking for these shows to be removed from the programming. I'm not doing that. We're just asking to be warned about some of the content the same way other people want to be warned if a program contains smoking or drug use, or Amber Heard doing whatever the hell she was doing in that Kleenex. We know the cat's out of the bag for the groomers in this country, both the ones inside the education world and those in the entertainment world, and they're working hand in hand. So it's our job to make sure that they don't accomplish what they're clearly trying to accomplish. And if that means asking that anytime they decide to shoehorn some kind of LGBTQ plus stuff into the programming, I want to be made aware of it in advance. So be it. You see, it's still my decision whether or not my child is ready to be exposed to any of that stuff. It's still my decision which sets of moral and ethical values are going to provide the framework upon which he or she will hang the accumulated knowledge of life, providing that is my job, and it's still a sacred office which I hold. So do warning labels annoy me? Yes. Do they annoy me when I'm just sitting down trying to watch an episode of television? Yes. Are they necessary during a time in our history when leftists are doing everything they can to bore into the brains of every child and implant their own destructive and self-destructive ideology? That's going to make 3 yeses. We parents do need every advantage we can get when it comes to these groomers. And hell, since you're not going to throw your TV out in the front yard and shoot it with a shotgun, which is exactly what it deserves, then probably, let's just go ahead and take the warnings. I want parents to be parents is what I want. I want you guys to take responsibility for the stuff that your kids are watching, the things they're exposed to. Because let's face it, the kids don't give a rat's ass about the warning labels. Kids don't care. You didn't care. Some of you smoke. Y'all had the warning labels on the cigarette packages a long time ago when you were teenagers and you decided you wanted to take up a nicotine habit. You didn't care about the warnings. You still don't. I love speaking of warning labels, I love if you go to duty free, if you're flying international and you're in the airport and you go to the duty free store and the warning labels they put in these international countries or these other countries in international terminals, the warnings labels say, these will kill you. Have you ever seen that? They put that stuff as this will kill you. But it's also interesting that they put the labels on there about, pregnant mothers, right? You go to a bar, you see the warning label that says, hey, pregnant women shouldn't consume alcohol. It might kill your baby. It might cause birth defects. And we wouldn't want that to happen to your little precious protoplasmic blob now, would we? So, again, if babies don't matter, then why are we concerning ourselves with any of it when it comes to the warning label? Because they do matter, and so do your children. And maybe, just maybe, by doing these warning labels, it may put a little more accountability into the thought process of what these content creators are putting in their programming. But let's face it, their consciences have already been seared, and their hearts have already been hardened, so they really don't care. They'll just slap it on there anyway. Nobody's cleaning anything up, unfortunately. So my best advice is don't watch TV. Just don't. Just don't. Right? Golly. It's a weird society we're in, man. Weird society. I talked to you about it last week. We got so many bites and bits of information coming our way that we just can't get away from all of it. We're being consumed with it. And listen, I'm all for having information. I'm all for that. But when it's the wrong kind of information coming your way constantly, it's going to turn your mind into mush. And while you're getting information, you're getting a lot of the wrong kind of information. Again, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. And the things you give access to your mind, folks, that's what you become. What you look at, you will become like. And they're trying to water all of this stuff down to the point where it just becomes not only legal, but it's just because I've always said if you can legalize it, you can laugh at it, you can launder it, then it becomes acceptable in our society. And that's exactly what they're doing with all of this stuff. And they're doing it to our children. They're doing it to your children. So parents, be responsible. Be responsible. Kids, I know sometimes there's some young people who listen to this show. Listen to your parents. Seriously. There are some things there's some guidelines and some warnings out there. That's why God created us to have people to kind of give us some oversight and some insight to life. So when you think your parents are old and crotchety and they don't know what's really going on in the world, maybe just listen to them for a minute, and it might protect your brain and your future and give you a leg up in life when the rest of the world is going to hell and people have lost their freaking minds. And, as Rudyard Kipling said, when all about you're, losing their minds and you can keep your wits about you. I'm paraphrasing, of course, from his great poem, If. But, when you can keep your mind when all about you are losing theirs, and just hang on to it, folks. Hang on to it, because God knows we are in a chaotic society. We'll be right back. So there was a MSNBC story, Tiffany Cross and panelist Amy Hagstrom Miller. They claim that the pro-life movement is driven by terrorism rooted in Christian extremism. I don't need you to play a full minute clip of that. That's their rhetoric. That's their logic for you trying to protect children, specifically unborn children. If you speak out like I do pretty passionately, then you're one of them wild-eyed terrorists. It's rooted in Christian extremism, things like protecting life. Here's where you don't have to go very far to start seeing some pretty radical extremism on the left as well. Again, there was a crisis pregnancy center that had Molotov cocktails thrown into it the other night. But let's go back to the warning label thing in the last segment, and let's just talk about your children in general. These are the people influencing your kids. Okay, another teacher. Here's a TikTok video. Chris, play it.
My kids from last year are now in 5th grade, and they come visit me almost every day after school. And a lot of them are queer because I am queer, and they figured it out, and so I've become their safe space. And today they found my Guess Who, and they started playing Guess Who, but they didn't play it the normal way. How did they play it? They used things like, this person looks like a lesbian baddie who's gonna come over and make you dinner. Well, which one of these characters is a lesbian baddie that's gonna come over and make you dinner? Oh, Olivia is? Oh, great. Which character just looks gay? Well, meet Mike. These kids, I'm so happy that they are figuring out who they are and that they're happy with who they are and that they found a safe place. But man, I could never imagine being in 5th grade saying these things out loud, even though I know they're all okay. I grew up super religious where nothing was okay. And so seeing this happen, I'm like, but I'm also like, yay, but
You are off your rocker. I mean, you are out. You're not living on this planet here. I mean, folks, you better be pissed off. I mean, seriously, you better be pissed off. What did she say, Chris? 5th grade? Says she's a 5th grade teacher? And her kids are queer because she's queer. She gave them a game. This is what's going on. This is what's going on in the schools, places where your kids. Yes, a 5th grader is very unsure about who they are overall. They love labels. They like being in the club, right? They do. So you want to keep throwing your club out there and giving it a label and giving it a name. They're going to come back, and you know what they're going to do? They're going to see you, so excited with glee and acceptance for their little decision. They haven't made a decision. They're just they're getting a response out of you that's very favorable to a 10-year-old, and they're going to keep doing this kind of stuff. That's what's going to happen. 8, 9, 10-year-olds. I mean, what kind of response do you think they're trying to please you? And they're already, and what are you going to do? You're not a responsible adult. You're not somebody that cares. You're not shaping young minds. Why is my child going to your school when they should be learning their multiplication tables? Why are they learning about which character in your game looks gay? This is what's going on, folks. You better get involved. You better get involved. You better get involved with the school board. We gotta get rid of this stuff. Now, you call that Christian extremism or whatever you want to call it. Guys, this is just common sense. This is common sense. Do you understand the realm of damage we are leading an entire generation into with this type of crap and confusion? And look, it would be the same thing if I'm sitting there. Why would I, if I'm a straight teacher, am I going to be shouting with glee over a kid that comes in and says, I'm straight? I like girls. I like girls. Good for you. I mean, that's whoopee-doo. That's not what we talk about right here in math class. That's when they start talking about comprehensive sex education. They're talking about infusing this kind of crap into math class, into English class, into reading class, into physical education. All of these things, into science class. It all has to have comprehensive sex ed curriculum. And they're couching it under behavioral health, mental health, hygiene, all of these various things they're doing. And they're building it in. I don't need word problems that talks about Susie and her girlfriend Gretchen in order to figure out what time the train gets into the station. This is the kind of stuff that they're pushing, folks. And you can at me, you can slide up in my DMs, you can come in my mentions, you can do all this stuff. You can call me toxic. You could call me, people have been calling me a woman hater. I don't, God forbid. Anybody knows me knows I ain't a woman hater. You know what I'm talking about?
And Chad.
You know what I'm talking about, Chris? What?
Some good news on the positive side. Here in Texas alone, conservative flips Frisco, Clear Creek, Grapevine, Southlake, Keller, Carroll, Spring Branch, Richardson, Dripping Springs in Austin, Texas. Every conservative person that ran for the school board won over the weekend.
What I'm talking about.
And that's how you take back power.
That's what I'm talking about.
Because parents are speaking up, and it was awesome to see all in Texas.
So Shelley Luther, our friend Shelley Luther, she posted this on her social media. This is a story, ABC 7 in Amarillo, Texas. There is a little town east of Amarillo. The headline says, Senior wins school board seat. Carson Roberts, who had to run as a write-in candidate because he did not turn 18 until after the time to file for the election. Claude High School senior, he won a seat on the school board. He sent her a message. Carson Roberts, I'm giving you a shout-out, brother. I would love to talk to you, Carson. He sent Shelley a message, said, Shelley, although I do not personally know you, I want to thank you. I'm from a small town east of Amarillo. Our school board in the past has been very liberal, as well as our administration. As a student, I was tired of it. I saw people like you stand up for what they believe in and thought maybe I can do the same. I wasn't 18 by the filing deadline, so I ran a write-in campaign, got signs, went to every door, and won with the most votes out of 5 other candidates. 18 years old. Congratulations, brother. Hang tight. We'll be right back. Hey, visit my website, watchchad.com, Naples, Florida, Bernie, Texas, Fort Worth, Texas, Shawnee, Oklahoma. Upcoming shows. Come out and have some fun with us, actual fun stuff. And you don't want to miss it. WatchChad.com is where all the fun stuff is. You get all the tickets information you need. Also, Chad, you can use that promo code, Chad. It's a special name. Don't you forget it. At blazetv.com/Chad. Save on your annual subscription as well. Do a little shopping. Ministry of Truth shirts are available, flying off the shelf at chadonblaze.com. Tomorrow is hump day, and we're going to get humpty hump. Love y'all. God bless you. See you then. Bye.